Good morning. We are going to review multiplication division word problems today, and we're just going to talk about them and decide, do we multiply or divide, and go ahead and solve for the answer. So let's look at this first one. Multiply or divide. Ken goes fishing and catches 5 fish. Brent catches 3 times more fish than Ken. How many fish did Brent catch? When we're solving a question like this, we need to always ask ourselves, what are we starting with? What do we know? Well, we know that Kent catches 5 fish. And then what? Well, we know that Brent catches 3 times more than Ken. Well, if we're looking for how many Brent caught and it's more, then will we multiply or divide? Well, to get more, we're going to have to multiply. 5 times 3. That's 5, 10, 15. So Brent caught 15 fish. That makes sense because 5 times 3 is 15, and that's 3 times more than 5. Look at the next one. Multiply or divide. A blue building is 60 feet tall, which is 5 times taller than the yellow building. How tall is the yellow building? Well, what do we know? What are we starting with? The blue building is 60 feet tall. That is 5 times taller than the yellow building. That means the yellow building is smaller. So to find that smaller number, I'm going to have to divide. 60 divided by 5. Well, when I do division, I always use multiplication, that relationship, and I think, okay, well, 5 times 10 is 50. So I would need 2 more 5s, so that would have to be 12. 12 times 5 is 60, so that makes sense. So that building is 12 feet tall. It is 12. 5 times 12, 60, and it is. So that makes sense. Okay, look at this next one. Multiply or divide. Robert pays $12 a day to catch the bus. Tim pays twice as much. How much does Tim pay? Well, if Tim pays twice as much as Robert, that's 2 times 12, and that would be $24. That's a pretty expensive bus ride. Look at the next one. A tree stands 42 feet tall. That was 6 times as tall as a nearby tree. How tall was the nearby tree? Well, a tree stands, what do we know? A tree stands 42 feet tall, and that is 6 times the height of the nearby tree. That means the nearby tree is much smaller. So that means I would have to divide to figure out how tall that is. 42 divided by 6. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. That is 7. 7 times 6 is 42. Yep. Makes sense. So that means the nearby tree is 7 feet tall. Emily and Joe went for a run. Emily ran 15 miles. That was 5 times as much as Joe. How far did Joe run? Well, what do I know? What am I starting with? Emily ran 15 miles. 5 times what Joe ran. That means Joe did not run as far. That means it would be a smaller number. To get a smaller number, again, I would divide. 15 divided by 5, which equals 3, because 5, 10, 15. So that means Joe ran 3 miles. 3 times 5 would be 15. John is 12 years old. His little sister Susie is only 2 years old. How many times older than Susie is John? John is 12 years old. Here's what we know. And Susie is 2 years old. In this case, I would probably use multiplication and be like, okay, well, 2 times what number equals 12? That would be 6. So he is 6 times older than John. And that makes sense. I mean, John is 6 times older than Susie. Sorry. How many times older than Susie is John? He's 6 times older than Susie because she's 2 and he's 12, so he's 6 times older. I used multiplication, but technically I was dividing. Same thing goes for the next one. A restaurant sold 15 hamburgers and 5 salads. How many times more hamburgers were sold than salads? So I could say 5 times what equals 15? That would be 3. There were 3 times more hamburgers sold. But look at this one. This one has times in it, but it's a little bit different. It says red shoes cost $7. Blue shoes cost 3 times the red shoes. How much do the blue shoes cost? Well, that means the blue shoes are going to cost more. So I would have to do 7 times 3 was 21. So I always see me thinking about, okay, am I looking for a number that's bigger? Do I know the biggest number? What's happening here with the numbers? Because that helps me know whether I multiply or divide. So like this last one, a florist organizes 63 flowers into bunches. Each bunch holds 7 flowers. How many bunches of flowers are made? Well, bunches are putting those flowers into groups. When I put something into groups, I know I'm going to divide. So 63 divided by 7 is 9. Because 7 times 10 is 70. So 63 divided by 7 is 9. So think about what is happening. If you're dividing something into groups, use division. If you are making something bigger, use multiplication. If you need to know how many times more something is, think about that math fact and the missing part, and you can do it that way.